Okay, so this commenter is basically saying, what happened to Warhammer? Where is the disconnect? Because back in the 80s and 90s, the Warhammer and the Codex lore is all very this like tongue-in-cheek satire, sort of satirizing this ultra-fascist, grimdark far future. And today it is much less tongue-in-cheek, and it's very much this depiction of the Imperium as the heroes and the Emperor as like a god. So where does that disconnect happen? I think there's three main things that are contributing to this. One being it's very hard to write fiction from the perspective of a bloodthirsty alien. We see the Imperium as the main characters because they're the narrators of the story. It would be very, very hard, probably impossible. I don't know, maybe there's some fan fiction writers out there that have written the whole tyrannic war from the perspective of a Norn queen. But I just think like with the Black Library and the way that this is happening, the Imperium's always going to be the narrator of the story, which is why the Xenos and the mutant are always seen as the other. And then I think we have GW adding the video games to their portfolio. And it would be really interesting, I think, if there was a GW style game that's kind of like maybe one of the first one or two Fallout games where you're kind of like wandering through the world, you're getting some world building beats, and you're kind of slowly discovering why they're there, that the Empire is actually not all that it seems as you're a brand new guardsman recruit or something. You know, the way that that sort of like, you start with the details and then it hits you with the big picture. I think that kind of like bottom up world building doesn't translate the way that, you know, they would like to for the GW games. So you very much like play very top down, like you are a space marine, you shoot bad guys, and that's kind of like how the video game side of things work. And then the third thing is, at the end of the day, James Workshop wants to sell us toys. And the Emperor's Angels, the Space Marines, literally the poster boys for the whole thing. And to an average Imperial citizen, they call them the Emperor's Angels, right? Because they could be a myth. They've never seen one, most likely. And they would be just as rare as seeing a vision of an angel. But the toys sell. They're big money, and Space Marines are always going to be kind of like the flagship product in the 40K series. So cat's out of the bag, Space Marines exist. We don't really play as those average Imperial citizens, and we're gonna play as Space Marines, and we're going to, you know, purge the Xenos and the mutant because that's what sells the toys. This is a long one, and I think this is why we need to kind of remember what Old Hammer is like. And if you want that type of perspective, it's been 2 years since I put this video out. In that time, I have become a regular cast member on the Under the Hives of Madness podcast, where we deep dive on this stuff all the time. So please give us a listen. We're on Spotify and pretty much anywhere else that there's a podcast platform. I'm a little bit more on the miniature painting side of things, but my other three cast members are very much like Old Hammer guys, and this is all we talk about all the time. So anyways, have a great rest of your day, and yeah, media literacy, guys. We need it.